So tonight we're just having a fun, carefree episode. Elisha and I have been recording a lot of podcasts. You never know, by the way, I'm like touching my mic cord like a newbie over here. But over the last 7 days, I think we've recorded 6 podcasts, some of which are incredible, content-rich interviews. And we've both been creating a lot of content for Voteberg Music Academy and Growth Initiative and the Get It All Done Club and kind of my elite group in the Get It All Done Club, which is the Mavens. And we sat down to record tonight and we were just not feeling a content-heavy podcast. So hopefully you're doing your dishes or in your car on a long road trip and you're just sitting there or doing something anyways. And we're going to talk in your ear for a bit. And we're going to ask each other some questions that we don't know about yet. So I'm glad you're here. Grab a snack, and hopefully we'll just have a good little chat.
The Now That We're a Family podcast.
I wanted to feel cozy tonight, so I went to the effort of putting our chairs a little bit closer together, facing them a little bit more towards each other, because as you said in the introduction, the creative juices are not necessarily flowing. They seem well dried up, and that's for a great reason. We've been creating a ton of content, like you said, for the podcast, for the Get It All Done Club, even some new content for the Growth Initiative, and so this really is just kind of like it's almost going to be like a little date. It's like,
yeah, it's a little date. Welcome to our little date. What do we talk about on our little date?
Well, you took it upon yourself to find something to talk about because you saw me looking pretty despondent setting up the podcast. You're like, okay, do you need a timeout? Do you need a little bit of alone time?
No, I always ask if he's mad at me first. Like, are you mad at me? He's like, no, I'm not mad at you. Like, we weren't making any eye contact. So what else is on your mind?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I was just absent-minded and a little overwhelmed at the thought of doing a podcast, and the titles that we are considering doing, or like the topics I should say that we are considering doing, were a lot more serious, and I felt so ill-prepared for them because I didn't want to just go haphazard into some of these topics, and I was pretty overwhelmed. And so you took it upon yourself to lighten the mood, which I'm grateful for, and you said, well, why don't we do a lighthearted episode? I'll go find some questions that we can ask each other, and you went and did that. And I have no clue what these questions are, so I'm genuinely excited now.
We've done a few episodes like this. You guys, if you listened to every episode, you know that we do these every once in a while, and they're kind of like our burned out, have a good time episodes. So anyways, like happily burned out. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question first, and then you can pick one and ask it to me.
Fair enough.
What about that? Okay. So what new hobby would you like both of us to do together next?
That's a good question. I feel like we've done a pretty good job of finding like-minded hobbies over the last couple of years. Early on in marriage, I feel like we skied quite a bit together. We obviously started the businesses together. We played in some volleyball leagues together, which was pretty fun. Yeah, we can't
say that was good for our marriage. But
no, you're right, but we made an effort. We did a triathlon together, and we trained a lot for that. So that was, I feel like, a good experience.
That was a blast.
Yeah, that was good. And then as of late, I think like we've both been kind of like, dipping our toes into like martial arts and stuff together. And so even though we're taking different, I guess, art forms, we're studying different art forms, we will practice with each other quite a bit. It feels pretty like we're doing it together.
Yeah, it's a hobby that we share for sure. And so even if you share the hobby and you don't do it together, you still have something to like talk about and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've gotten into some knife fighting.
Yeah, you're right. We got into the whole knife fighting hobby. We're kind of taking a break from that one. Namely, because I left my really nice knife at the last Airbnb we were at. I'm so bummed about that. Anyways.
Also knife fighting is kind of a terrible hobby because I think you end up dead. So we play knife fight.
Yeah, we practice with fake knives.
Yes.
We do real drill. We were doing real drills that were taught to us by legit blademen. So
well, okay.
I feel like it wasn't like some joke.
No.
Okay, so a next hobby, and I'm not trying, like Katie, you're gonna think I'm just trying to like please you by saying this, but I've been thinking about this for maybe not 6 months, but probably like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Elisha's lead-ins always just have me on the edge of my seat. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes of like disclaimers
Yep.
and lead-ups.
Yeah, it's so fun seeing you squirm.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it?
And the reason that I actually have been thinking about this is because you've been such a good sport with like the martial arts stuff, the knife fighting, even shooting. We've been shooting more and more recently. And I know you genuinely enjoy it and you really like it, but it's also not the most, I mean, we make it romantic, but it's not like on its face the most romantic thing. And so what I'd really like to do, Katie,
What?
is I'd really like to sign up for like an in-depth dance class with you.
Stop.
I mean it.
Are you
I'm being dead serious. But here's the deal. I do not want it, because we've tried this before, and it's always like
We've never taken lessons before.
we've done one-offs.
Yes.
And the problem with, I think, so many of the lessons that I did them with my sisters when I was younger.
Okay, well, that does not count for you and I.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is I'm going to reference classes that I've taken
Okay.
and from experience, okay? Not just from what I assume they are. In the past, is that they dabbled in like a bunch of different styles. You know, it was like ballroom dancing. And so you'd go through the waltz and the tango and even like some form of swing dancing. And it was like a 12-week course, and you barely scratched the surface on each, I guess, dance style or form.
Yeah.
And you get done and you're like, dude, I don't know how to do any of those things. I'd rather like just like get great at the waltz.
The tango.
That's what you want to do?
Boom, boom. Like all the dramatic poses.
Yeah.
Yeah, waltz would be awesome because we could use that at weddings and stuff.
Yeah, and just really have it dialed in so that when we hear like a 3/4 song come on, we can just bust. We're in our comfort zone. And similarly, like you and I have always had a little bit of a love-hate dynamic with swing dancing since even when we were dating, because you really were accustomed to leading.
I taught too many guys how to swing dance, and Elisha knew how to swing dance, and the classic like worst girl to dance with, like, you know, the girl that doesn't follow. Yeah, that was me. It's like the worst title.
And I will say, the place that we went swing dancing at when I was younger, like the cool guys danced a different way than I think the cool style of dancing was different than the cool style of dancing with your crew. I know there's like a ton of different styles of swing dancing.
Western swing. So Western swing is like kind of anything goes. It's very like flamboyant and showy, and you're a little more like tighter to the rhythm. Like you have actual steps you're doing and stuff like that.
You guys didn't have steps?
Well, you do, but it's just an in and out step. It's not like 1, 2 rock step, you know?
Oh, or like the Lindy Hop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely thrown off, and we got frustrated because I thought the way you were doing it was not cool, and you thought the way I was doing it was not cool, but we both were confident in our.
No, that's
in what
not
we were
what
doing.
I think it is. That's not what I think it is. We can't even agree on what we disagree on. What I think is that it's gotten better because the last dance class we went to, we had more fun at than we have before, I think.
And I think that was for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, but let me share one of them, okay? Is I didn't realize when Elisha's focused and when he's mad, he looks exactly the same, which is probably the same for a lot of us, but like he gets super quiet and looks like he's just super mad. And so I thought he just hated me every time we danced, which partially that's probably true. He was probably pretty frustrated at me in the moment. But it's also like he's just focused on what he's doing. And like when I get nervous or I'm trying something new, I get more talkative, kind of like the nervous talkative. And so it just wasn't a great combination. But I think we're getting to know each other better in more like not stressful, but like pressured environments.
Yeah, pressured or just uncomfortable.
So what's your thought on it?
I agree. Well, I think that when that last time, that was only a couple months ago when we were learning that dance. And I think both of us went in like totally teachable. Like we didn't go in thinking we knew the dance already, or I've done this before, or I know what they're going to tell me. I think both of us went in just 100% ready to listen to the instructor. And so I think we were able to learn kind of at the same pace. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
But I'd say too, when I saw you getting tense, it didn't stress me out, and I wasn't like panicking, like he doesn't like me,
Yes. Keep talking.
Keep talking. Oh my goodness, has my mic been out this whole time?
I think it just popped out. Yeah.
Wait, so what does that mean?
It means we're back.
Okay, it's all good. So we were talking about the whole dancing thing. Anyways,
Yes.
but you want to take dancing lessons?
I thought that would be great, but like I said, it has to be the right,
He's backtracking.
well vetted. I want to be confident that if we go once a week for 12 weeks, we'll come out with a skill set.
Yeah, me too.
And I know you have to practice, and I know you have to work on things on your own at home. Even like you can't, with any actual like quantifiable skill set, you can't just expect in 12 weeks to have it down. But I do want to feel like we've got a foundation and at least something to work on after 12 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you guys, I'm so glad we had this podcast episode. We can sign off now. I got what I came for. No, I am so surprised you said that.
Yeah,
But that makes me
it.
super happy.
I mean it. There's been a couple scenarios over the last few months where I just really wished you and I were more equipped in dancing with one another. So we should do something about it. Wow. Okay. So I just get to pick out any of these questions, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of
There
them.
are. This is kind of a. Okay, you picked a good one there. I see why you went with that one. Okay, let's see. Okay, how about this? Right now, we don't have any pets. If we were going to have one, if you're going to buy one pet for us, for our home, for the kids, for you, what would it be?
It'd be a dog.
A dog. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Do you want to know more?
Yeah.
I think
I thought you told me how your parents taught you as a kid to not give one-word answers, And here you are giving me a one-word answer in the middle of a podcast.
A dog. Next question. So I would like a dog because it just seems like a safety thing. A safety animal. I'd like to have an animal that we just, would bark if something happened. And I also would like our kids to be around dogs probably a little bit more. They're definitely the average terrified children they like the little dogs. They ask everybody on our walk to pet their dog.
Yes. They're really good. They're surprisingly good with dogs.
Yeah, like little ones. But I think they get very intimidated by the bigger dogs. So I don't know. I'd probably go for a dog.
Yeah, I respect that. I'm not closed in this house. I think I'm going to be closed down to a pet.
Elisha's never been open to a pet
so
far.
Yeah, once we have
So
100 acres and we can, keep it at the far corner, the back 40, then I'll
I've
be
said this
happy to have a
before,
pet.
but Elisha told me, and I didn't know if he was serious at the time or not. I'm still not sure if he was serious or not. He told me when we were dating, if I didn't sell my guinea pig, he would not hold my hand because it was gross because it touched the guinea pig. I don't think he used the word gross, but that's
Speaking of which, since you were pretty unsatisfied with the last question I asked, I'll try once again here. What is the most memorable moment of our courtship days?
What's the most memorable moment of our courtship days?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say our first kiss probably.
Okay, nice.
That's
pretty memorable.
sticks out because
It
of
does.
all the trauma on both sides.
Yes.
And the lead up.
Yes.
But what would it be for you? Is it something different?
No, I mean, honestly, yeah, the first thing that came into my mind, I mean, now that you say that,
it's like can't.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that whole what felt like our first, see, like you chose like a really romantic, fun thing. But this was like the first time I felt like kind of mad at you. And that was when you were walking out on the ice.
Oh.
And you just were not respecting anything I was saying at all.
I know. I wasn't quite sure when that respect started. I remember going home and telling my mom and just thinking I was so right. So if you guys aren't familiar, there was this ice on, and I'm not going to go super in depth with the story, but there was ice on a river, right?
Yeah, it was a frozen river.
On a frozen river. And I was walking out on the ice and I knew it's a very shallow river. So it goes like up to your waist if you drop.
Depending on which part of the river. That's not the case at all, Katie.
Okay, well, that's what I had in my mind. That's what I had in my mind.
There were many parts of the Deschutes River where I couldn't touch, you couldn't touch.
I know, but not going through town. Really?
Yeah, certain parts there for sure.
Okay, so starting off, Elisha and I had different
Plus, there's a current.
understandings.
And so even if you like, it could suck you underneath the ice, you know?
So
You fall
I
through.
am terrified of ice, but not this ice, I guess. I was pretty sure it was pretty shallow. So I was walking out on it, just kind of like, I don't know, getting attention, doing that thing, I guess. And two of Elisha's friends, one of his cousins and one of his friends who was our mutual friend was there. And Elisha was like, come back, Katie, come back. And I was just like, in my brain, I'm like, he's not my husband or my dad. I could do whatever I want in this situation. And I just kept going and going. And I guess you felt kind of like humiliated or like in fear of me getting hurt.
All of the
all
above.
the things. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was genuinely stressed out. The ice was not that thick. We could all hear it cracking and creaking
Oh my
and doing
word.
its thing.
Oh my goodness. No, that is not true.
That is true. And besides, you never really know how thick it is. It wasn't even that cold outside. And so it couldn't have been, the ice couldn't, I felt like it could not have been that thick. And then, yeah, I was like, hey, like, that's crazy. You should come back. And you just like looked at me and kept going. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I felt like I was totally in a predicament because my buddies were standing there. And I'm like, okay, am I going to go out and get you? Am I just going to keep pleading with you? Should we all just walk away and let you die out there? It was a really hard spot.
And Elisha's family is a lot more, I guess my family's very risk oriented when it comes to physical risks. And I think your family's like was less that way, like with your dad. It was less a part of your culture. So like I remember I'm going to give you guys an example. Flashing through my mind was when I was 11 years old and I jumped off a bridge into water and my dad was like encouraging me to do it. And Elisha's 5 years older and his dad was like, do not jump off the bridge. Don't jump off the bridge. So it was just like different how his dad probably was like, this is kind of a foolish thing to do. And my dad's like, do it. Like he's a lot more adrenaline minded.
He is, but anyways, I feel like I have to defend my stand. Are we really doing this?
No,
'Cause
you don't.
the whole
You don't
thing
have to defend your stance. You were right. Okay.
I don't. But see, I don't want you to say that like I was right because you should have just respected me. I still feel like that was not a worthy risk to take because I think I'm very open to risks if like the risk reward is up there. And even like here, like 4 people died here around Coeur d'Alene, the lake or the rivers that were walking out on ice, either trying to get their dog or just walking out to have fun. They fall in and they drowned.
Yeah. So I was being foolish. And
I didn't know what the upside was. Like you weren't going anywhere. You were walking simply
Elisha, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm just trying to say what was going through my mind at the time. Okay?
Okay.
So what was going through my mind at the time was, oh my goodness, like Elisha's not going to let me do anything fun. He's just going to control me. He's not going to let me do anything that's like a little bit of a risk or anything like that. And so I was like having my own panic attack where it's like, no, I have to prove to him like this is who I am and I do take risks and I do these things and he needs to let me do that. Because I was worried I was going to get married and then he was like, you can't do any of these things basically that I enjoyed doing, which it turns out I had kids and I don't want to do any of those things anyways. So it all worked out. And Elisha's not like that anyways. But yeah, so anyways, you could tell it's, 7 years later and it's still emotional for us. So, but I got home and I told my mom what happened and I thought she was going to totally agree with me. And she just looked at me and she goes, that's bad. And I just got this sick feeling in the pit of my stomach like I messed up.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyways. Wow, that was more than they bargained for. Are we going to edit that conversation?
That was great. I feel a lot of resolution.
Oh my word. Elisha, oh my goodness. That is, yeah. So there you guys go. You get a little Katie and Elisha disagreement there. Which of your parents do you think you're like the most?
Wow, I feel like you've asked me this before. Have you?
Have I?
Have you? Have I?
I've asked you with our Sabbath table topics.
Yes.
I could choose another one.
No, that's a good question.
anyone ever saved your life?
Yeah, I think you could objectively say that somebody like saved my physical life. When Yeah, I think so. It was when I was 15, and I got caught in a boat propeller, like behind a boat. I was in the water, and we were out inner tubing and wakeboarding and that whole thing. And I swam up to the boat without the boat driver knowing that I was swimming up to the boat, and so the propeller was going, and it hooked my leg and cut it like a 12-inch gash down to the bone, just like along my leg on my quad muscles, and it like sucked me down too. So it grabbed me, so I was fully underwater. My head was, and I wasn't down there that long, and my life jacket was tangled in the prop.
That is so
The
scary.
life jacket it would have chopped me all the way up because it started here, the prop did, and kept going right here, and then got caught up in my life jacket. The propeller did, and like tangled it up, and just stopped there. So I was like, my whole life jacket was bunched into the propeller, and I was underwater, like just by like a couple inches, like looking up into the boat. And only one person saw me swim up. The whole thing was like quiet and fast. I like swam to the boat and just like, and sucked me down. And one person saw me, and they yelled. And so two of the guys jumped out of the boat, and they yanked me out of the propeller, and they pushed me up onto the boat. And I was just like on the deck, like on the back of the boat, And I looked down, and it's just muscle.
The scar on Elisha's thigh is like 2 inches wide. It's like huge.
Oh yeah, it's really long. I mean, it's like a full 12 inches long and 2 inches wide.
It's like,
yeah. And
it's epic.
And that was really tricky because where we were at, we weren't close to a road at all. I had like swam in from a beach that wasn't close to a road at all to connect with these people on the boat, and so they just all applied pressure on my leg or wrapping it up, and we were all a little stressed out because you couldn't see. I had a wetsuit on; it was cold water, and so you could see like obviously my muscle hanging out, and there wasn't a lot of blood. It was just like muscle, and but they didn't know if it had gone up, like if it I mean there would have been a lot more blood if it hit the femoral, but they didn't know if it kept going up my chest, and so they were trying to like cut the wetsuit off and cut my life jacket off to see how far it was. And there were like superficial, marks all the way up my belly and chest, but the gnarly one. And so then they had to run me to an ambulance. I got to the ambulance. And so they had to drive like 20 minutes in the boat. It felt like 20 minutes. I don't know how far it was. And somebody had called an ambulance on the way. The ambulance got me. They took me to the ER, and they put me under, and they had to like wash out my leg.
My goodness!
Clean it out.
I don't think I've ever heard that full story. I just knew you got tangled up in a boat propeller.
Yeah, so I feel like I got saved. Like I feel like people jumping in and saving me from drowning was like one thing, and then them, somebody in the boat had, some level of medical intuition or skill, or I think some formal training, I think. And so they were, putting me to comfort, trying to comfort me, telling me I was going to live because there wasn't a lot of blood and stuff like that. But I'd say that's like a genuine life saved story.
Yeah, I remember, this is kind of funny, but like when we were dating, I had no clue like what, like the scar's just huge and it's going up his leg, and I have no clue like if I don't know.
Well, that's what's crazy.
Like
yeah.
if anything was damaged or what kind of repercussions he had from that. And I didn't know how to ask.
Yeah.
And
you didn't know if I was going to be able to like procreate.
No. So I didn't consider that actually until Elisha asked. He's like, how would you know if you weren't like able to have a baby or something? You said it like that. And we were like pretty close to getting engaged at this time. And I remember just like, and then I went home and I was just laying in bed thinking like, I wonder if like he got like all tangled up in there in the propeller, and if he's wondering if he can have kids. And it really stressed me out. And I didn't end up asking you till after we got married. So
yeah,
I mean, clearly we've been able to have lots of kids.
It was a valid question because it literally, it's a valid. It was close. So
yeah,
it's a fair question.
Very scary.
Right now, Katie, I'm curious. Like this, I'm genuinely curious. What would the perfect day look like to you right now?
Perfect day. I mean, I think I've lived out some perfect days.
Recently?
Well, I mean, that's hard because like some days feel perfect, like in my normal life, and then other days feel perfect, like you give unto me, but it's outside. It's like in a bubble, like some of my golden free days have
Sure.
felt like so ideal.
Yeah, but
But I
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
want
want
to
to
live
live
it
it.
every day. Like
Yeah.
I love my normal life. So sometimes I'll get in a flow during the week and it's like, wow, I'm feeling like the kids are in a really good place and they're fun to be around and everything. You're going through attraction season where it just feels like, oh, we're seeing the fruit in everything we're doing. And any effort you're putting in seems to be like flourishing as opposed to being tired, feeling like you're shooting at the wall with spaghetti and like
Right.
one noodle sticks. And you're just
Yes.
like, wow, great, thanks. You and I are in a good place and we're having fun in our marriage and the kids like us. And, there's like some ideal days like that.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like this question almost does need to have qualifiers or like categories because
Yes.
I certainly don't want like the tropical sunset on a beach with you every day of my life. Like
Yeah.
where we're not with the kids. But those are some special. We've had some like great romantic getaway days. We're like, oh,
Yes.
this was the perfect day for this situation.
I mean, yeah, I think if I was to go to like an ideal day out of my ordinary, say, I would go to a hotel room. I love that. And I love that.
I love that.
I mean, it's just nice. You can sleep in and it's just an incredible gift. And then eat breakfast at La Peeps Cafe. And then I would lock myself in the hotel room and work uninterrupted on all my hobby projects forever. And then I would probably go shopping for like an hour. Then I would eat dinner in the hotel room. It'd be breakfast for dinner. And then I would work for another like 7 uninterrupted hours. And then I would go to sleep.
Wow.
And when I say work, I mean like not on the things that are like, oh, you have to do this. It's like the dream projects that always get kind of pushed to the side because life,
Yes.
just uninterrupted time. I love getting so absorbed into something that I just like work my face off.
Wow.
It is so fun for me.
That's crazy. Well, and I might have missed it, but was I at breakfast or was I going to bed with you? Did I meet up with you for dinner?
Okay, well, we've never actually had the luxury of doing that. And so I think that's why it's like in a different compartment in my brain because I have had ideal dates and evenings with you. But in my brain, it kind of starts like the day portion's over and then we have an awesome date and then
Sure.
we come home and like have Ben and Jerry's ice cream and watch a movie and hang out till like way late at night and,
Yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah.
So
That's different. Got it.
that's like in a different compartment in my brain. But I mean, it would be ideal if I could choose to have a babysitter come, go out to dinner with you, and then hang out in the hotel room all night.
Okay. Yeah. You forgot about that part.
Well,
You're like,
it's
now that I
never-
think about it.
It literally didn't show up in my brain as an option. Genuinely. Alexia, that my favorite
know,
thing
I'm
is to hang
teasing,
out with
I'm
you more than
teasing.
anything in the whole
I'm
world.
not insecure about you
I hunt you
not wanting to
down
hang out with me. Yeah.
and suffocate you with.
Out of all my insecurities, that's not one of them.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about your ideal day?
Not really. Your ideal day kind of put me in a bad mood. So
Elisha, oh, come on. Come on. I've done stuff kind of similar to that before. You've given it to
oh,
me.
I know, and it's a total win. I'm teasing you,
Yes.
Katie, babe. I'm with you 100%.
Okay, so what are you very proud of but never have an excuse to talk about?
That's an interesting question. That is an interesting question. See, you're such a good wife. You always tee me up pretty nicely when you know I'm excited about something. Or,
I have missed it a couple times though.
yeah, and I let you know about it. It's like,
Like that was a perfect opening.
what?
Why didn't you ask me a question about that? I'm like, I didn't even know you wanted to talk about that. Like that wasn't showing up on my radar.
oh man, what is something that I'm proud of but never have the opportunity to talk about? I think I pretty much talk about anything I'm proud of. So I don't think I can answer that question. There's nothing I'm like keeping secret.
Okay. Okay. Let's try. If our life was turned into a movie, what would its title be?
Wow, that just a title, a movie title?
I know titles are kind of hard, but you're good with titles, so I thought I'd give you a shot at it.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Okay, I can jump to another
Yeah,
one.
I feel like this is just going to be
Say
a lot
pass?
of me. Pass,
Okay.
yeah.
What would you rather have, more money or more time? Let's just do a question where you have one answer. You get to choose. It's not so open-ended.
More time,
More time.
no doubt.
Really?
Yeah, if it's with you.
Oh. Really though, more time.
Yeah.
Like more time in a day, more time in your life. What kind of more time? Like how would
just-
you like it portioned out?
Okay. I just
We were pretty tired tonight. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. I guess more life, I guess, is probably what.
Yeah.
And so maybe money can get you feeling like you're living more life. I don't know. I just love living life with you, and I love seeing the kids and seeing them learn new things. And yeah, I just do not get tired of any of those things. And so I want more of that.
Aw, that's sweet.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to ask you another one?
No, how about you'll finish up? This is the last one, okay?
I feel like I've had really long answers to my questions.
I have too. Okay. Oh man. Okay. What fashion fail did you embrace?
What?
Yeah, what fashion
I've
fail?
never had a fashion fail.
All right. Okay, moving on.
What fashion fail did I embrace? Okay, well, here's one. When I was like 14 years old, 13 or 14, well, when I was 13, I got really into debate, like speech and debate. And I was super skinny and petite. And so I would get these women's suits and I would sew them down. And in the context, it made sense. You know, everyone was in suits. But then I found Ann Taylor, the Loft clothing, which is like really classic clothing for women. And at 14, that was like all I would wear. They had a petite section. So I could get little like clothes in my size. But they were just like so... I mean, they're classic now if you were like 25, but I feel like they made me look like I was like 40 because I was so young and wearing these really old looking clothes. Like my pants were all like suit pants instead of like, I had no jeans or like, I don't know. The skirts were like pencil skirts and it was just like, I don't know. I didn't think that looked very good. What? Why are you grinning at me?
That's a good answer.
You probably have some more fashion fails that I have.
I've had a lot of fashion fails. Yeah, we've seen photos of them, but I think I embraced them. But okay, final question.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your our dating selves?
Knowing what I know now?
Yeah,
Well, you marry him in the end, so just chill out.
that's what you tell yourself. Got it.
That's what I would tell myself.
Okay.
Are you saying what would I tell someone else who's
No.
in
Yeah, I was gonna say yourself. Yeah.
like actual me knowing that I get
Yes.
married and have kids?
Got it. Yes. You'd say
Yeah, I'd be like, well, you get him in the end. So,
nice.
because I mean, that was my biggest fear was seeing you with somebody else. Like, I just couldn't. Like, that's what would work me up into like a stressed out frenzy. Was just like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal, and then it's like, can I ever picture seeing Elisha with someone else? Like, or can I picture myself with someone else? No, and then I would just freak out. That's the whole story. It's stressful to even think about.
It's so funny. Like,
Oh my
I shouldn't say
word.
it's funny. I just do not miss dating at all.
No.
I just love being married to you so much. And when we see our siblings or friends entering into dating relationships or, trying to figure out if they're going to be dating certain people.
I just
it's
feel
like,
bad.
Me too. I'm like, wow, good luck, guys. Go get them.
It's a wild world out there.
It is.
And it's just getting crazier. I tell you what, I thought it was crazy when we were single. But that's the interesting thing is, well, whenever people would come up to us and be like, oh, enjoy it. It's the best time of your life. I remember thinking like, I hope not, because this is kind of stressful. but because you don't know what the outcome is. Like, how are you supposed to be like comforted
and
like, carefree and able to like when you're married, you know, you have this underlying foundation of like, I am cared for, I am unconditionally loved, I am with who I'm supposed to be with. And then you can like think about all the other things you want to dream about and do. And,
yes,
you know, you can go from there. But
Yes.
like until that's like settled, everything seems unsettled. And at least that's how it was for me. So.
Same. All right. Well, thanks for doing that, Katie
Man,
babe.
we're like full blown, at least I am, like falling asleep. I have not had this for a long time on an episode, and it's not even that late.
Oh, folks, I apologize for me. And Katie, do you want to apologize for yourself, or do you want me to apologize for you?
Why?
For being so tired.
Oh, I don't think.
You don't need to?
I'm not apologizing for being tired. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
how about we do this? I'll apologize for me, and you can apologize for me.
No,
Oh, we lost
Elisha,
it
you're
there.
awesome.
Folks, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this lighthearted episode of the Now That We're a Family podcast. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.